We are already live now. It's counting already. We are already live. So welcome to C# 8.0 and .NET Core 3.0 Modern Cross-Platform Development course. So in this course, you are going to learn how to build applications with C#, .NET Core, Entity Framework Core, ASP.NET Core, and Machine Language.NET. ML.NET means Machine Language.NET. It says using Visual Studio Code, but you are not going to use Visual Studio Code in this course. You are going to use Visual Studio. Now, Visual Studio Code is another IDE from Microsoft. So, but it's a free version of Visual Studio. Are you following? Unlike Visual Studio itself, which is not supposed to be a free version, a free software. Are you following? So we are going to be, what I'm just doing, be doing is I'm going to serve as a link between you and this man. Are you following? So the man who wrote this book, his name is Mark J. Price, and he's a Microsoft specialist with more than 20 years of educational and programming experience. So that's what we are going to be looking at. So we are going to go to chapter 1 of the book itself. So these are the things we are going to do.
These are table of content.
Yes, these are table of content. By the time you finish all this, sir, you are ready to work. In fact, I want to tell you that by the time you finish this, me too, I'll have become a better programmer. And you will be ready for the job market. So that's the good thing about it. So, okay. So chapter 1, Hello C#, welcome.NET. Now in this first chapter, our goals are to set up our development environment. Now what is development? Development is just simply we are writing computer programs. Okay. So in this first chapter, our goals are setting up our development environment, understanding the similarities and differences between .NET Core, .NET Framework, and .NET Standard. Because before .NET Core came along, there is something called .NET Framework. You are going to see the difference. But let me just tell you that the difference between .NET Core and .NET Framework is that .NET Framework works only on Windows platform. And have you heard of Linux?
Yes,
You've heard of Unix, have you?
Linux uses the operating system.
Good. And Windows is another operating system. So .NET Core is, the aim of .NET Core is to write programs that will work on Windows, work on Linux, work on Unix, work on other operating systems, not just Windows. So, but before .NET Core, programs that you write using .NET Framework, they could not run on other operating systems. They could only run on Windows alone. So we are going to learn how to create the simplest application possible with C# and .NET Core using Microsoft Visual Studio. All right, so now this first chapter covers the following topics: setting up your development environment, understanding .NET, and all that. Now let's go to setting up your development environment. So before you start programming, hello mo ìwà ní ọ̀dọ̀ student mi. So before you start programming, you need a code editor for C#. Microsoft has a family of code editors. and integrated development environments. You know, I mentioned integrated development environment, which include Visual Studio Code, Visual Studio 2019, and Visual Studio 2019 for Mac. Now, Visual Studio 2019, that one is for Windows, while Visual Studio 2019 for Mac is for Mac computers. Hmm? He said the most modern and lightweight code editor to choose, and the only one from Microsoft that is cross-platform, is Microsoft Visual Studio Code. It's able to run on all operating systems, including Windows, macOS, and other varieties of Linux. So now, Visual Studio Code is a good choice for. Excuse me. Visual Studio Code will work on different operating systems. Now, using Visual Studio Code means you can use a cross-platform code editor to develop cross-platform apps. Whenever you hear the word cross-platform, because if you go for interview, sir, they might ask you, what do you understand by cross-platform? Cross-platform means program that can run on different operating systems. That's just what it means. It can run on Windows, it can run on Linux. So therefore, I have chosen, therefore, the writer of this book chose Visual Studio Code for all but last two chapters of this book. Now, but the man is still saying that you can use Visual Studio 2019 or Visual Studio for Mac for this book. Yes. So he said he will not be giving step-by-step instructions for using them. So now he also talked about using Visual Studio 2019 for Windows application development. Then he also talked about using Visual Studio for Mac for mobile development. Now, look at, for the book, he said chapter 1 to 19 is recommending that we use Visual Studio Code. Via 20, Visual Studio 2019. You can see Visual Studio Code runs on 3 operating systems, while Visual Studio 2019 runs on only 1 operating system. So Visual Studio 2019 for Mac, that one also runs on macOS. So the one among the 3 IDE, which one is cross-platform? Yes. It covers the other 2. Thank you, sir. So now, deploying cross-platform. What do we mean by deploying? Deploying, it means you have finished writing your program. You now want to put it somewhere so that people can access it. That's what we mean by deploying. So you say your choice of code editor and operating system for development does not limit where your code gets deployed. Said .NET Core 3.0 supports the following platforms for development. So you can see .NET Core is cross-platform because it supports more than 1 operating system for development. Now, here is talking about understanding Microsoft Visual Studio Code versions and all that. So now let's go to this one. Downloading and installing Visual Studio Code. Are you following? Downloading and installing Visual Studio Code. Now, if you are going to download Visual Studio Code, so now at this point, we are going to pause this lesson. This code again. If you click that other one, it will stop. So one has to be very, very careful. So we are already doing this practical now. That's what we are doing on your computer. Okay. We are at this step 2 now. But since we want to program C#, you have to install what we call the C# extension. Now, they said to install the C# extension, you must first launch Visual Studio Code application. Are you following? View extensions. So I'm going to open Visual Studio Code on my machine. The reason why I've not installed them is because I've not been using Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio, you can see my own Visual Studio Code. Are we recording? Let's pause here for now. I've already paused it. How about this? How many percent is this one? 35% complete. Continue doing what you are doing. So here's my Visual Studio Code. And the lesson don't start that. I am trying to open mine so that I can install my own extensions. So yeah, expand. Just hold on. Okay. Now let me go to view. I'm going to the same extensions. View extensions. Let me first look for that. Let me first search that C# is installed. C#. Okay. C# is already installed. Now, the next. Okay, this one is saying reload required. So I click on that reload required just to enable that extension. Okay, so that one has been taken care of. So now the next extension you and I are going to install is C# XML documentation comments. C# XML documentation comments. So how do you do that? You come here, you type, Lisa, press record. Record here. So that I can continue. So you are going to search now. So please type in that search box C#. It's like that's not your C#. Which one? Try 4. Let's see. Shift and 4. No, Shift and 4. What are you pressing? Okay, press 3. It's 3 ahead. C# XML. Type XML.
Space.
Yes, C# space XML. And then we wait. This one we want to install. C# XML documentation. This one. Install it. I'll also be installing it here too. So it's already installed. Good. Hold on, sir. Now, the next thing we want to install is called C# extensions. So you are going to search for C# space extensions. Extensions. It has come up. Can you see it? Can you see it, sir? Install, please. Okay, done, Abi?
Yes.
Good. Now, the next one we are going to install is called REST client. REST client. Okay, I will type it here, sir. REST, as in when someone is resting. REST client. No, remove that C sharp, sir.
Just rest.
Clean everything. REST client. You didn't type start from R. REST space client. It has come up. Click install. Did you see it, sir? Install. Okay, good. Which one do we need again? This one, the ilspy.net, the compiler. ilspy. I'm going to spell it here like this. Spy space ilspy, yes, as in spy. It has even brought it up here. Look at it, sir. This one. Install.
People infected on this.
Yeah, and they are programmers, solid programmers. Now, the last one we want to install is called SharpPad. SharpPad. So you go to that place.
Sharp.
Okay, wait. This one is still installing. Let's wait. Let's give it time. So after it has finished installing, then we will now install SharpPad. Okay, it has finished installing in my place. Oh yeah. So I think this is about the last stuff we will install. SharpPad. So just type sharp and pad together. Sharp pad. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's come up. Install. Good. We are making progress.
So all this code now is what you are.
Things like this over time. Now, understanding .NET. Stop the video in your place. Okay. Now, understanding .NET. .NET Framework. .NET Framework, .NET Core, Xamarin, and .NET Standard are related and overlapping platforms that programmers use to build applications and services. In this section, I'm going to introduce you to each of these concepts.
Now, which one are we going to transfer? Is it not what we have downloaded?
No, you know I talked about Visual Studio 2019. That one that only works on video on Windows.
For Windows.
That's the one I'm transferring. You also need to know how to use it.
Okay. Okay, that means now, okay. Okay, the one we install is Visual
Studio Code, which
The one
can
we
work.
want to transfer now is
Visual Studio 2019, exactly, which only works on Windows. This one that we've installed works on Windows, Linux, it's cross-platform, exactly. So now, understanding the .NET framework. So the .NET framework is a platform that includes a common language runtime, which manages the execution of code, and a base class library, which provides a rich library of classes to build applications from. Now, Microsoft initially designed the .NET framework to have the possibility of being cross-platform. but Microsoft put their implementation effort into making it work best with Windows. Since .NET Framework 4.5.2, .NET Framework has been an official component of Windows operating systems. .NET Framework is installed on over 1 billion computers, so it must change as little as possible. Even bug fixes can cause problems, so it is updated infrequently. So you can see that it's on over 1 billion computers. And you know how much human population is about 5 billion or so. Now, all of the apps on the computer written for .NET Framework share the same version of CLR. CLR means Common Language Runtime, and library stored in the Global Assembly Cache, which can lead to issues if some of them need a specific version for compatibility. Don't worry about that one. Anything that I just read, don't worry. Don't bother yourself about it. But just know you can read it later. Now, understanding the Mono and Xamarin project. Now, third parties. What do they mean by third parties? They are talking about other programmers or companies that are not Microsoft. You get this, sir? So third parties developed a .NET Framework implementation called Mono. Mono is cross-platform. So now, Mono is now used. Mono now serves as the foundation of Xamarin mobile platform. You know, phone, it's possible for you to develop a mobile phone program that will run on mobile phone. So normally on the Microsoft platform, we use Xamarin to develop mobile application. And then when you want to develop games, so you can use C# to develop computer games too. So, but if you want to use C# to develop computer games, you need to use what we call Unity. But don't forget that .NET Framework is not cross-platform. It's only on Windows. So now, let's now come to .NET Core, which is the one that is cross-platform. So today we live in a truly cross-platform world where modern mobile and cloud development have made Windows as an operating system much less important. So because of that, Microsoft has been working on an effort to separate .NET from its close ties with Windows. While rewriting .NET Framework to be truly cross-platform, they've taken the opportunity to refactor and remove major parts that are no longer considered core. So this new product now is called .NET Core and is cross-platform. Are you following? Now let's jump to understanding future versions of .NET. So say the following tables show when key versions of .NET Core were released, when future releases are planned, and which version is used by the various editions of this book. Now, as at the time they wrote this book, they said the .NET Core 3.1 was for November 2019, abi? .NET 5.0 November this year, abi? Then .NET 6.0 they said will be in 2021. So among all the versions of .NET Core that they mentioned here, the one that they've not yet released is this one. Now, what is different about .NET Core? They said one, it is smaller in size than the current version of .NET Framework. Now, let me jump. Now, building console apps using Visual Studio Code. So we are going to program now.
Okay, before I do that, there's something said about the I want to, let me have I want to have a picture of this. But let me take it back. Studio,
Visual Studio Code.
Visual, you have different type of things based on the operating system.
Yes.
So
Studio Code.
Code is a cross platform.
Yeah, it will work on Windows, Linux, and
Now this .NET now it also have its own various functions.
okay, let me put it this way.
So
.NET, we have .NET framework.
before I go for that, this is studio now. Visual Studio.
Let me pause this recording. Record it. Let's record it.
Okay, I want to know their
Difference.
the function or
Okay.
So Visual Studio Code.
Yes.
Visual Studio Code is an editor.
It's or an IDE.
IDE, that is a platform where you write
C# programs.
to help you to edit or to write C# programs.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So what's the work of this .NET
framework? And good. Now, when you write C# programs, C# programs, they actually run on the .NET framework. So what did I say?
So C# program runs on .NET
framework. They run on .NET framework. But it's not only C# programs that run on .NET framework. There's another language called Visual Basic .NET. It also runs on .NET framework. There is another language called F#. It also runs on .NET framework. So C# is one of the languages that run on .NET framework. Only that it is the most popular language that runs on .NET framework.
So which means having a Visual Studio Code, writing C#, they still need another platform to run it, which is .NET
framework. .NET framework.
The framework now comes in.
Yes, you see, Visual Studio Code just allows you to write. Yes, but the program you are going to write using Visual Studio Code, they run on .NET framework. Which and when we are talking of .NET framework here, we are talking of the old .NET framework or the new .NET framework, which is .NET Core. You get it now, sir?
Okay.
Good. Do you get it now?
Yeah, I get it.
Good. So now, he said, now we want to go to the real part of it. Said building console apps using Visual Studio Code. Now, when we talk about console apps, have you heard of MS-DOS?
MS-DOS. Yes, MS-DOS come before Windows.
Yes. Now, but if let me just do a brief refresher course of what we mean by MS-DOS. But you have heard of command prompt before. That black screen. This command prompt. So when we are if we are talking about console apps, which is the next thing we want to look at, we are simply talking about programs that will run in this black window. So that's that. Console apps. So console apps are programs that run in command prompt. So now let's start writing code using Visual Studio Code. So we are going to do this practical together. Said, let's get started writing code. Say start Visual Studio Code. We've already started that, isn't it? So now says on Windows, navigate to File, open what? Folder. So now let's go to, on Mac OS, but we are not on Mac OS. So we are on Windows. So that's why I'm jumping that. On Windows, navigate to File, open folder. So this is what they are saying we should do, sir. Where is, okay, hold on. They said you should, what they are saying here is you should go to File, open folder. Open. They called it, sir. Go back and record it. It's not being recorded. Record. Good. Now go to File, open folder. Yes. So when you say File, open that folder, this is the dialog that occurs, isn't it? Now, for now, let me click Cancel on my own computer. Excuse me. File, open folder. So now, they said in the dialog box, navigate to your user folder on macOS or your documents folder on Windows, or any directory or drive in which you want to save your project. Now, for now, click Cancel, sir. Click Cancel. Now, what you are going to do, I want you to go to your C drive. No, don't pause. Go to your C drive. That's your C. When I say C, you know, local disk C here. Just go to computer. Okay, you are still taking the recording, Abi? Let me help you, sir. If you want to go to local disk C, just go up like this. Up. See local disk C. Press it. Good. So we are now both in our local disk C. So we are going to create, you are going to create a folder in this local disk C. You call it Peter lesson. Me, I will call my own. Go to new folder. So me, I will call my own Ben lesson. Peter lesson. You will now remain. Me, I'm calling my own Ben lesson. Okay, C sharp lesson. Don't put that sharp. Spell it as SHARP. Lesson. No space, please. Yes, don't put space. Let me call my own to C sharp lesson. C sharp lesson. Okay, fine. We both have a folder called C sharp lesson on our computer. Now, what you on C drive? So what you now do? Let's go back to Visual Studio Code. Now go to that file, open folder again. File, open folder. Now, click on local disk C by that left. Look at what I'm doing. Click on it. Good. Now look for that folder called C sharp lesson. You've seen it, sir. Double click on it. Now click select folder. Look at select folder here. Now, what? Hold on. Now, look at what happened. When you click open folder, look at this place. What is there? What it means is that Visual Studio Code is now inside that folder called C sharp lesson. That's what it means. Are you getting it, sir? Yes, whatever thing we want to write will be inside that folder. No, yeah, you first create a folder. That's for if you are using Visual Studio Code. You first create a folder. You now go and open that folder. Studio Code. Exactly. Now, no, let me see. You are recording now. Don't worry. Okay, I'm coming. Okay, now the next thing we want to do is to click the new folder button. Um, okay, let's do it this way. One thing in computer is there are several ways of doing things. Now we are going to create another folder. Inside that our folder, this C# lesson, we'll call it code. Now what you are going to do is this. Just go to your C drive again. Now look for that C# lesson. Open it and create another folder inside. Call it code. Yes, CODE. Then you click outside, sir. No, just go back. This is where you are. Okay, that's fine. All right. We are still coming back to this. Let's look at our textbook again. Now, in the code folder, we are going to create another folder called chapter 01. So what you do is this. You open this code folder again. You create another folder called chapter 01. No space, please, sir. Now click outside, sir. Good. Now, in chapter 01 folder, you are going to create LOCS. Now, this is what they are saying. Let me show you. Open this chapter 01. Right click again and say new folder. And you call it LOCS. Capital H. No, the rest small letters. LO. Then the CS will be in capital. Click outside, sir. Yes, click outside. It means LOC#. That's what it stands for. Now, please, for now, please close your Visual Studio Code. Close it completely. No, just the Visual Studio Code. Okay. Just leave it for now. No, don't worry. Now, don't pause recording. Now, go back to that LOCS folder. Right click on it. Hold on. I have open with code. Okay, can you see open with code? Let me explain. Open with code means you are going to open it with Visual Studio Code. So you click on open with code. Yes. And it not just taking us to Visual Studio Code, it will open that folder in Visual Studio Code. Are you getting it, sir? Good. Let's wait a bit. think it's still coming up. Let me pause this. It for us. Now we want to write our first, we want to create our first program. Remember the program we want to create is called a console app. And I explained earlier on that console apps are simply applications that run in your command prompt, which is that black window. Command prompt. Console app, console applications. Application that run in command prompt or MS-DOS window. I think that will explain it better. Console apps are applications that run in command prompt or MS-DOS. Then you put brackets here, black window. You know, it's so that it's to help you to remember. Yes, so now the next thing we want to do is to go to terminal in Visual Studio Code. And that terminal, so for you to go to terminal, you go to view, and then you click on terminal. Click on terminal. Now, when you say view, this terminal now. Yes. Now, this is where we'll now type our command. We want to type our command. Yes. Chapter 01 LOCS. Yes, that's the part. Exactly, sir. So now, I'm not sure that this command we will write is going to work on this. Now we want to create a new console application, but this is the command we type: .NET new console. Are you following? So how are we going to do it? We say no, like this. What? .NET new console. What this means is that in this folder, which is LOCS, create a new console app using .NET Core. Type it. I'm not sure that it will work. You know why? Because we've not installed .NET Core on your computer. But don't worry, we install .NET Core. But yeah, type .NET new console. Let's see what happens. CS. Yes, type exactly what I've typed here. Net. Yes. Now space. New. Just type W. Space. Console. What it means is that create a new .NET app. But which type of .NET app? Because there are many types of .NET apps. We are now saying that, okay, the type of .NET app you want is a console app. Now press enter on the keyboard. Did you do that? Now let's go and check our folder. Just minimize. Go and check your folder. Okay. Seems there is nothing inside yet. Open LOCS. Okay, don't worry, there is nothing inside yet. So you've pressed .NET new console, Abby. Let's go back to Visual Studio Code. Go back to Visual Studio Code. Said not found. But look at my own. Say the template console application was what? Restore succeeded. The reason why your own gave error is because you don't have .NET Core installed on your computer. Now, let's see how you are going to install .NET Core on your computer. Are you following? Now, this is where we are. They say in terminal, enter the following command, .NET new console. Said you will see that the .NET command line tool creates a new console application for you in the current folder, and the Explorer window shows two files created, locs.proj and program.cs. This is what they are talking about, that it will show you two files created. This is the Explorer window in Visual Studio Code. Now, the next thing, step 11. Sorry. Okay. So now in step 11, say click on the file named program.cs. Look at program.cs. They say you should click on it. Good. So when I click on it, this is what I have too. Visual Studio, allow Visual Studio Code to communicate. Please check allow to communicate. No. Go to that place. Go and check that place first. No, the two. Check the two. Now say allow access. And you wait. Okay. All right, we have said allow access. Let's continue. Now, if you see a warning saying that required assets are missing, okay, we don't have anything like that. Okay. Now, but look at the program. Look at what? The program, the first program. I want to explain this first program to you. I want to explain it. So, this is your first C# program here now. At the top of the program on line 1, there is a statement that says using system. Am I right? Good. Now, sir, if you are writing C# and you see the keyword using, because that using is a keyword. Anytime you see using, there is something that will follow it. Now, what follows that using is the name of a namespace or system. Now, so we have what we call namespaces in C#. Now, what do we use namespaces for? And what are namespaces? In C#, we have what we call classes. We have what we call what? We have what we call classes. Now, these classes, let me explain the way classes are. So, have you heard of architects before? In real life, architects that draw plans for house. Yes. Normally, before you build a house, and who draws the plan? The architect. Good. Now, there is a modern way of writing software that is called object-oriented programming. You might want to put this one down, sir, please. It's something that you should put down. So, right, the modern way of writing software is called object-oriented what? Programming.
Is the modern way of writing software
Software
is object.
of writing writing software is called object is called okay is object oriented programming. It's called object oriented programming. Now, in object oriented programming, we use classes. Yes. In object oriented programming, we use what? Classes. In object oriented programming, we use what? Classes. That is why you are seeing class program there. Sir, can you see class program? The reason is because we are using object oriented programming. And C# that I'm teaching you is an example of object oriented programming language. So in object oriented programming, we use what? Classes. Now please go to another line. Related classes are organized into a single namespace. Related classes, related classes are organized into a single namespace. A single namespace. For example, the system namespace. System. For example, system namespace has several classes under it. Namespace, not spaces, so namespace. Write it together.
Okay, this one.
No, this one is okay. But namespace, yes, has several classes under it. Several mean many, Abi?
Yes.
Good. Now let me explain what I'm saying here. The modern way of writing software is called object-oriented programming. In object-oriented programming, we use classes. Now, related classes are organized into a single namespace. For example, system namespace. What I'm saying is, you see this system namespace. There are many classes inside. Now, you see this system namespace. The people the owners of system namespace is Microsoft. Is who? Now, they have many classes that they have written to make life easy for you and I as programmers. Now, if we now want to, for example, if I want to come to your house, I first need to enter this street. If I don't enter this street, will I be able to enter your house? Now, when I come to this street, I first need to access the gate of the compound. Abi? If I don't access the gate of the compound, where I enter into the compound. Now, to get to your parlor, I need to access the gate there too. So, likewise, there are many classes in this system namespace. But if you want to use any class in system namespace, we first of all put it at the top here. Why we are putting it at the top is We want so that we can have access to those classes. Are you getting it? Now look at this namespace LOCS. What was the name we gave our project? LOCS. Now anytime you create a project in C#, you are creating your own namespace too. And automatically C# will create a namespace that corresponds to the name of your project. So we created a project. What's the name? LOCS. So C# went behind and created a namespace called what? No. What's this? Hello. Hold on, sir. Hello. Happy New Year, sir. Ta ló sọ̀rọ̀? Brother Dare. Ṣé ẹ ti dé padà? Oh, he's a brother in our church. Let me pause this one. We don't want the program to display what? Hello world. This is what we want the program to display. We want the program to display hello, C#. Now, how do we do that? You to go to your to that place. See, this is what you do. You will change just this line. Are you following? You remove that word. You put a comma after the hello. Put space. Then you write hello C#. So that's the change. After that, you go to file. Then you go to save. So, sir, you to do it. Yes, continue. Put the comma right after the hello. Yes, go ahead. Comma. Space. C#. Okay. Okay, that's good. That's fine. Please, sir, save. File. Go to file, save. Good. Now, the next thing we want to do is we want to run our program. Are you following? We want to do what? We want to run our program. Now, to run our program, go to View Terminal. I think we're almost getting to the end of the lesson now. Now, go to View Terminal. You do something like View Terminal. View Terminal. Yes, click it, sir. Good. We are now there. Hold on. Now, there is a command that we will use to run the program. So, what's the command we are going to use to run the program? And we are going to type it. But assuming it's Visual Studio 2019, you will not type it. You just click a button. So, to run, this is the command we are going to type, .NET run. So, let me show you what we are going to do. So, we'll come here, we'll come back to Visual Studio. You know, we are already in terminal now. So, you type .NET, then space run. Then after that, you press enter. Yes, space RUN. Press enter. So, you are not telling, okay, it has run. What did it display now? What did it display there for me? Hello C#. Your own will display hello, I am learning C#. Let's wait, it's going to run. What did it display, sir? Congratulations, you've run your first C# program. But I want to encourage you not to be discouraged. Even when I started, I didn't understand everything. Hmm? We are not going to clone anything for now. Okay. Um, let's stop. Let's stop the lesson at this point for today. But I'm still going to no click that plus button.